Welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast, where you learn how to extract your business and personal deep wealth. I'm your host, Jeffrey Feldberg. This podcast is brought to you by Deep Wealth and the 90-Day Deep Wealth Experience. When it comes to your business deep wealth, your exit or liquidity event is the most important financial decision of your life. But unfortunately, up to 90% of liquidity events fail. Think about all that time and your hard-earned money wasted. Of the quote-unquote successful liquidity events, most business owners leave 50% to over 100% of the deal value in the buyer's pocket and don't even know it. I should know. I said no to a seven-figure offer and yes to mastering the art and the science of a liquidity event. 2 years later, I said yes to a different buyer with a 9-figure deal. Are you thinking about an exit or liquidity event? Don't become a statistic and make the fatal mistake of believing the skills that built your business are the same ones to sell it. After all, how can you master something you've never done before? Let the 90-Day Deep Wealth Experience and the 9-step roadmap of preparation help you capture the best deal instead of any deal. At the end of this episode, take a moment and hear from business owners like you who went through the Deep Wealth Experience. Zack White is known around the world for changing the game in career coaching for engineering leaders. He has worked with hundreds of leaders at top companies worldwide to achieve breakthrough results and escape burnout. Zack is the founder and CEO of Oasis of Courage, a fast-growing company with unique and proven coaching programs exclusively for engineers. He also hosts a top-rated show, the Happy Engineer Podcast. As a coach for engineering leaders, Zack understands the journey firsthand, holding both a bachelor's and master's degree in mechanical engineering and spending over a decade building his career in the Fortune 200. Zack is affectionately known as the world's best lifestyle engineer and your coach. Welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast, and wow, do I have a guest for you. I have a fellow podcaster, coach, an all-round great guy, and you're going to come out of this podcast with some insights and strategies that are science-backed and baked, and it's going to take your whole business to the next level. I'm going to stop it right there. Zack, welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast. Absolute pleasure to have you with us. And I'm curious because there's always a story behind the story. So Zack, what's your story? What got you to where you are today?
Jeffrey, so pumped to be here. Nothing makes me happier than deep wealth. So I'm in the right place. And the story behind the story. So Jeffrey, I have an engineering background, and once an engineer, always an engineer. But I, through a series of unfortunate events, experienced a deep rock bottom burnout in my career path. Through the transformation and growth out of that, discovered a system, a way to help you experience rapid growth in the goals we have at work while not screwing up at home. And that became what is now my business in coaching and supporting leaders in engineering and technology to go get the results they want at work, have the life they want at home, love the process, and get to results they might have thought were never possible and don't go through what I did. So that's where we are today.
I love that. You took a personal pain that you went through, you figured it out, you're paying it forward now, taking that to the world and to leaders. And Zack, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about your system. Big picture wise, I imagine because you're an engineer and an engineering background, and all the engineers that I know are very methodical, that when you apply that to the business context, when you apply that to the coaching side of things, it's a game changer. What would you have to say about that?
You're absolutely correct. And no engineer will take offense to being told that we are detail-oriented and systems-driven and see it as a strength for us. And the truth is, there is a lot of pieces of scaling a company, starting a company, where having that meticulous attention to detail and a systems mindset, seeing the business as a system and really recognizing the inputs, the outputs, what's inside the black box is tremendously valuable. Or on the career side, the same thing, looking at yourself as this wealth-producing asset. Maybe the challenge we face then is the typical entrepreneurial flair of massive action and willing to take risks and stepping boldly into the unknown. That might be the place where the engineer struggles more. And of course, we need both.
Nice balance. And so let me ask you this. In the leaders that you're coaching, the businesses that you're looking into, that you're helping, most leaders are goal-oriented, type A personalities, glass is half full. You know what? There's a 20% chance of sunshine today. Look at that. Maybe we'll get some sun. That said, let's flip it. Where are most business leaders missing the boat? And I'm sure you'll appreciate the statistics. I'm going to rely on Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule, as some people call it, that 80% of the issues that you're seeing probably are coming from 20%, give or take either side of that, of the same root causes. So what's going wrong in businesses?
Ooh, Jeffrey, that's a big question. And there's a couple things I believe around this. One is that we do need to pay attention to the principles, to the timeless truths. The 80-20 principle is a great one, and it's absolutely true that we all in business need to pay attention to certain things, and there's some failure modes that show up again and again. The other thing, though, I've seen in coaching a lot of engineering leaders is don't overgeneralize. There's often things in the detailed specifics that matter. And so I think we need both lenses. And as a coach, one of the things that I focus on a lot is what is exactly going on for you? Because the next step or the blind spot that could be holding you back may not look the same as everyone else. But to the point of your question, like where do I see the big themes? What's holding people back? The thing that I see the most, especially with people who are logical, analytical thinkers, that's my zone of genius, it's the place I play the most, is the tendency to simply chase the thing that worked for me last time and always falling into this belief that past results will always predict future results. Because we're so systems driven, we love to use that idea of prediction based on past performance. And while a lot of times that serves us well, we need to be careful always making that assumption. And what can happen is you get into a pattern, a rhythm, a set of habits that are not taking you to the next level because it's what got you here and it's what you're familiar with and comfortable with. It's what you know. And we get caught in that automatic subconscious pattern of just trusting those same things. And we're not taking advantage of new opportunities. We're not leveling up our leadership, our habits, our systems. We're not taking those risks with the 5, 10, 20% of our resources that have the big opportunities to scale or grow. And we plateau. And if you're not growing, you're dying because everyone else is growing. And so I think that's the thing as a theme that I see with analytical leaders is we might have too much dependency on past data and we fall into these grooves, these ruts, and then we wonder why we stagnate.
The good old paralysis of analysis. And of course, you always have the flip side. And for the benefit of our listeners, you've been all over the board and the map here, Zach, in terms of some of the companies that you've had come to you and they've taken your challenge. You know, I'll throw a few names out there. Our listeners probably won't have heard of them, but it's worth mentioning some smaller companies like Google and Apple and Amazon and Facebook, Microsoft. They probably won't ring a bell for our listeners, but you're making a difference out there. And let me ask you this, from those titans of business, as I call them, the ones I just mentioned that have come to you and you're helping their leadership team, to the smaller businesses, are you seeing outside of the scale of the business, which obviously is a big differential, are there differences that you're seeing from a leadership side of things, or it's same issues just at different scales?
I do think leadership is leadership, Jeffrey. And while there's no question that the challenges that a Google or a Meta or a Microsoft faces are going to have a lot more zeros behind them and bigger impact on the lives of many of the people in the organization and the world, you know, the scale is tremendous. At the end of the day, your ability as a leader to go and make a difference and influence the results of the organization and the people in it, those skill sets are fundamentally the same. And it's not to say that you can just copy paste one set of actions and behaviors from a small startup into Google and get these same results. But I believe that individually leadership is leadership. And so looking at yourself, and you know, the work I do is really with these individuals. We're not setting the strategy for the organization. We're looking at you and the results that you want to drive holistically for your life, career and business being a part of that, and asking, where do you need to level up to go get that next result? And so in that regard, I think everybody has the same foundational challenge, Jeffrey, that our next step, our next level of growth is in the unknown for you. So whether that's becoming CTO of a Fortune 100 or it's being a manager for the first time, we all have in common that the next level is new for us. And so it takes courage. It takes a willingness to grow and fail, get out of that comfort zone. And leadership it's always a challenge.
And so let me ask you this, with leadership being a challenge, we're in some really interesting times. And I know on your podcast, the Happy Engineer podcast, you're bringing on really some phenomenal guests, some terrific thought leaders. What are you seeing out there as we speak today? And things could obviously change tomorrow and by the time this episode gets published. But as of right now, you and I are recording this. What's happening out there? What should we know? Perhaps you're getting an inside edge on seeing that others just aren't seeing yet.
Jeffrey, I would say if you look in the news and the headlines, big tech is laying off by the tens of thousands, and it's creating a spirit of fear and anxiety around people in engineering and technology across the board. And what happens, whether you're a startup looking at launching a new product and going out to seek capital, maybe it's venture, maybe it's private equity, or if you're looking at your career inside the Fortune 500, in either case, anytime there's fear in people's minds, they tend to lean back. They tend to play the defensive position. They don't want to take risks. They don't want to fill in the blank unknown, uncharted territory when things are not positive. And so that's in the news, right? Everybody sees that. What I think people don't see is the fact that there are still so many companies and individuals who are making massive strides in growth. I just got off a call before this, Jeffrey, with a digital marketing company that is expanding at 40% quarter over quarter.
Wow.
Okay, it's massive growth. And they cannot find enough engineers to hire. Like they need more help in HR and talent acquisition in order to get the team scaled up to the level they need. And so I think that's what I would encourage everybody to pay attention to is, yes, know the macro environment, understand what those trends and risks look like, but also there's so many interesting pockets where you can still create huge results. And so I just want to encourage folks, like there's a lot happening that's really positive right now, and the dust will settle when it comes to layoffs. And of course, for individuals who are affected, my heart goes out to them. It's really disruptive to your family and to your life. But engineers are in the highest demand they've ever been. And there's no question in my mind those people will settle into new roles. There's going to be new emerging technologies coming and the companies that are scaling fast. So be excited.
Terrific. And so let's talk now to both audiences. We're going to be thinking about the engineers that you work with and you have them on the Happy Engineer podcast. And hey, this is your life, Zach. It's your world. But there's listeners out there and people in our community who are probably saying, not an engineer, will never be an engineer, not my thing. I can't say I understand it. But that's the challenge, because you're right. There is a seismic shift going on right now with technology, AI being one of them, and all these AI bots. I'm not going to name names. We all know who they are. And by the time this podcast comes out, it'll probably change even more so.
That's so true.
But that said, as business owners, entrepreneurs, founders, if we're not engineers ourselves, we need engineers to help us lead, to be in the company. How can we relate to an engineer? How can we think like an engineer if we're going to be hiring an engineer? What should we know? What would you want to tell us that will have the engineer on the other end saying, hey, yeah, I get this person. This is a company I actually want to work at. What would you say to that?
Ooh, this is a really important question. And Jeffrey, you're right. It won't be long if it's not already true that every single business type is going to need engineers on the team to accomplish what they need to accomplish. Even old traditional models of business, like in real estate development, et cetera, you're going to need that person who's an expert in these AI tools and digital marketing tools and everything else. So how do you relate? Here's the first thing. Just because engineers are typically introverted or even shy doesn't mean that they don't still have the ability to communicate if you'll ask them the questions. So you need to take the lead as the business owner to ask the engineer those open-ended questions and give them a space to talk. And at the end of the day, what most engineers want more than anything is just to go build something fun and interesting. Like we are still 12-year-olds with Legos and like writing our first lines of code. Engineers just have a deep passion for the product. They want to get their hands dirty and build something valuable. So if you want to light up an engineer and make them want to be on your team, paint a vision of what they can be a part of building. They just want to build stuff. They just want to build stuff. So if you can show them, hey, here's where we're taking our business. This is what we want to build. And you can be a part of laying the foundation of this really amazing product or service that's going to help a lot of people. The other piece to this being, I think engineers today, more so than maybe 50 years ago, along with culture at a broad brush, Jeffrey, they want to have some meaning behind it, connect it to more than just money. Tell them about why this product matters. Tell them about the people and the clients and the customers that you're going to help. If you can do those two things, an engineer will work for a lot less money if you can provide a powerful vision of the future that they can build, why you're going to help people along the way, and just get out of their way. Give them some autonomy and let them play. Again, they don't need 400 grand working at Meta, do that. They just need to be in a place where they have that freedom and they're going to be really happy.
And also for our listeners who maybe aren't quite up with the times, perhaps they've never had an engineer of any type in the business. That's changing. The business landscape is changing. We were alluding to that a little bit, but very specifically for our listeners now, Zack, what's coming down the highway here? The whole data side, IT, technology, as it impacts business. Why, if we don't have engineers in our company today, that's likely going to change? What would you say? What does that look like?
Let's take it step by step. So in the old days, you could run your whole company with 2 or 3 pieces of software. Now the average solopreneur has a tech stack that ranges across 10 to 15 different platforms. You've got your QuickBooks for finance. You've got your marketing CRM. You've got your client management system. You've got all of these social media tools. Maybe you're using a Hootsuite or a HubSpot or something to manage all of that. You've got no-code tools like Zapier that are controlling the flow of data around your whole business. And I could go on and on. At some level, you need to be the business owner and CEO, not the master of all these little pieces of technology. And there's a lot of waste if you don't understand how these connect and how the big picture of your data inside of your business lives, not to mention some of the laws or regulations around some of this data. When we talk credit card data, we talk client personal data. So that's one reason to start paying attention is the complexity of the data landscape in business is multiplying really quickly. In addition, the volume of that data and the value you can extract if you know how. So there's so many opportunities for you to become intelligent about who you serve, about the clientele that you want to sell to, and not just on the marketing side, but also learning from existing customers and how to improve your product or service and get a competitive edge. So having somebody who really is a master in terms of data science can extract that, help you, collect what you need to collect, separate signal from noise. There's a lot of value to happen there. And that's just level 1, Jeffrey. Now we talk about if you want to really compete, when is that place where creating your own tools, you have your own app, you have your own internal system that is customized around what you do. Now you're going to have a software engineer writing that code for you. You're going to have web developers customizing your web presence and platform. It goes quickly. It scales quickly. So I think people need to pay attention to the fact that you won't win without the technology when we talk about the decades to come. And the sooner you can embrace that and start building a foundation for it, you're not going to be catching up from behind. There's a really important principle we call technology debt. When you're not investing in this technology and laying that foundation now, you're building the gap of what it's going to take for you to invest and catch up at the point that it's like, I can no longer run the business without it. And that gap in terms of your tech debt could get so big. A very high profile example was the Southwest Airlines situation from back at the Thanksgiving timeframe last year. They had this massive technology debt where they didn't invest in their systems, their IT systems. And then it completely crushed their ability to execute. You don't want that to happen in your business, even if you're just a 5-person operation today. So the sooner you begin to look at this, the better.
Got it. So really what we're hearing as business owners, hey, we can be the captain or the pilot of the plane, but it doesn't mean that we have to be the ones fixing the engines or the mechanical or the AV system goes down and now we're leaving the cockpit and we're going to fix the AV system. Get the right people in place. And so, Zack, a business owner who's listening to you saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to check out your podcast there, but you've got me intrigued. Yeah, we need someone like you're talking about to really take our business to the next level, into the next wave of technology, where do we find these people, Zach? Where are some of the online places or otherwise that we can connect with these talented individuals?
Jeffrey, my go-to place is always LinkedIn. And I will admit, if you don't have any exposure to who these talents are and you're not sure who you're looking for, it is a bit overwhelming at first. Who do I need? Do I need a full stack software developer? Do I need a web front end CSS coder? There's a lot of lingo and it can be overwhelming at first. So my honest recommendation is if you are at a complete zero with this, you have no idea who you're looking for, go find other entrepreneurs and business owners in your industry who are a step or two ahead of you and talk to them first about the kinds of people that they're working with, who's a role model that you could step in and have the kind of, hey, I'm clueless conversation with about that, right? But the other thing too is engineers are the kinds of people who are happy to help. They love to have these conversations. So you can go on LinkedIn, find somebody who works in technology or even works at a company whose tools you use. I mentioned some examples earlier, like QuickBooks or Hubstaff or whatever. Go search that company and find an engineer who works there and just reach out to them cold on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'd love to learn about what you do. And then you can ask them, hey, I work in this industry. I have a tiny little business. What kind of engineering might I think about to help my company? And how can I get better at these things? And they'll help you understand the lingo. Engineers love to have those kind of networking chats. It's not as hard as it seems. It's just like anything in business. Just take the first step, go have some conversations, and every incremental conversation you have will start to peel the veil back on where you can actually create value here.
So really what I'm hearing is, hey, get curious, put any inhibitions aside, just be out there, ask the questions, look to learn, network, and see where that's going to take you.
Yeah, 100%. Ask that first engineer you meet, hey, if you came into my company tomorrow, what are the things you would be curious about? What would you want to know? How could you help? And see what they say, right? Just allow them to share with you how they would see supporting a business like yours. And they might surprise you. You're like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. That's really interesting. And honestly, that's the kind of person you want, the one who can show you the blind spots and who really understands, oh, you do these things? Well, have you considered this? Have you considered that? So just start.
And speaking of blind spots, and I'm taking this quote right from your site, Zach. I love what you said, and you're out there, you're forward, but you have a sense of humor with this. And you say, and I quote, no amount of Six Sigma prepared me for the darkest days of my life. Screw the 5 whys, unquote. So screw the 5 whys. What's going on with that? And you told us a little bit about the story behind the story, but can we dive into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the non-engineers listening, the 5 whys is a really simple and sometimes annoying tool where you ask the question why again and again to approach the root cause of a problem. And so the sentiment behind that quote, Jeffrey, is that I went through this burnout phase where in my conscious mind, all I wanted was to be successful. I just wanted to get promotions and grow my career and get towards this future dream of owning my own business one day. And I ended up instead going into this downward spiral that ended in divorce, depression, disappointment.
Oh my goodness.
I was embarrassed. Like, how did my life end up here? I just couldn't understand where I went wrong when I was working so hard to be successful. And the truth is, looking back, I can see all the places where I was completely off and how I was lying to myself in these blind spots at the time. But when I was going through it, it really caught me off guard. It was like hitting a brick wall. And those were really difficult times. It took a while for me to reset. And in that place, I'll tell you the moment, Jeffrey, that really stands out. I was sitting in my divorce attorney's office. And here we are at this big, beautiful conference table, mahogany shelves, fancy law books on the bookshelves. And we're sitting catty corner at this table. And for her, as an attorney, this was just another day in the office. No big deal.
Yeah.
And for me, this was the one place I never wanted to be. I was absolutely ashamed that I was getting divorced. I wanted nothing to do with it. And it was awful. I mean, I just wanted to cry, but I was too embarrassed to cry in front of my attorney. It was just terrible. And this is why I'm so passionate about avoiding burnout and being really intentional in how you go about pursuing success by whatever definition is yours, whether that's being a CTO of an organization or starting a small startup and building something new, it can really take the life out of you. And if you're not careful, you may get what you wanted in your business and look behind you at the dead bodies that have been cast to the side along the way, or the marriage that failed, or the relationship with your kids that's non-existent. And I promise you, there's no amount of success at work that can make up for failure at home. So look at your whole life. It's really important.
Wow. Firstly, thank you so much for being open, Zack, and vulnerable and taking us down that path. And so let me ask you, from those dark days that you went through and you've come out on the other side now, much wiser, and you can look back and see what was working, what wasn't working. And you're right, it's often overlooked, Zack, on the business world. Whether you're an engineer or not an engineer, on the business world, we at times can lose that balance and go too much in one direction or the other direction. So what would you say to our listeners on, I don't personally believe in balance. I think you want balance, look to Hollywood, look to a fictional book. I don't think that exists in real life. For me, it's always blending. How do I blend the business with the family and the personal and the other kinds of things? But where are we getting it wrong, and what can we do to get it right?
First off, I agree with you, Jeffrey, that balance is a bad model. As an engineer, I love mental models, and work-life balance is a terrible mental model. It pictures this idea of somehow work is on one side, life is on the other, and what do I do? Can I not have both? I mean, it's totally broken. But here's the most important thing I would share about burnout and the failure that I experienced. We're told that burnout is caused by the things that we are doing. You're working too many hours. You're burning the candle on both ends. You're causing too much stress by being in this toxic environment, or working with this toxic person, or fill in the blank, right? Whatever those things are that people tell you are the cause of the stress in your life that leads you to burnout. But the truth is, burnout is not caused by what you are. Burnout is primarily caused by what you are not doing.
Interesting.
It's the absence of the things that you need to maintain your energy, to maintain your health, to invest in the things that you value and love. It's what's missing that is the primary culprit. And so rather than focusing on what you're doing and trying to fix that, we need to shine the light on what's not present. You're not sleeping. You're not investing time with the people you love and really cherishing those relationships. You're not giving yourself any priority, no self-care. When was the last time you meditated or exercised, or really took some time to focus on yourself, give yourself the first priority? Those are the places that are the X factor. I've got clients who work 80 hours a week and are not burning out. It's not about that. It's because what they're doing with their other hours is keeping them in this place of homeostasis and health that works for them. There's a million ways to do it, but we need to be clear for you. And so that's the thing I would share with folks is stop asking the question, like, is what I'm doing, do I need to tweak it, change it? No, let's look at what's missing, because that's where you're going to find the answer.
Wow, some terrific insights. You're shattering some myths that are out there. And for our listeners, I really hope what Zack was saying, you were listening to it. As I say, Zack, that wasn't gold, that was platinum that you're spinning out there with some of those insights. And so let me ask you this, with your background on the methodical, the detail, the engineering side, and really, Zack, you're an engineer, you may not want to admit this, but I'm going to call it, you're taking the methodical and the engineering, the science, but you're blending it with the art. And that's really, for me, success. The sweet spot is both the art and the science mixed together. And so we've been focusing a little bit on the negative side, the glass half empty. Let's flip it now. This is where we operate from normally anyways. This is our home in terms of our mindset and our thought. So really, in terms of strategy, success strategies, because success leaves clues. And whether you're an engineer, not an engineer, we're business leaders, we're business owners, founders, entrepreneurs. It goes across stratas and titles and backgrounds. I would love to hear some success principles that you can share with us, maybe the top one or two that comes to mind of that. If we just did this one thing, if we finish this episode, and we always like on every episode to have one actionable takeaway, what would that be for our listeners on the success side of things that you're seeing in your world?
I'll give you two. And I love how you framed this, Jeffrey, the art and the science combined and principles of success. How do we step into this. So principle number 1, energy before strategy.
Interesting. Okay.
Energy before strategy. Everybody wants to focus on having the right strategy, the winning strategy, and then deploy that as tactics and execute. And all of that matters. Believe me, you need to have a great strategy. You need to execute well. But at the end of the day, Jeffrey, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, there's a lot of strategies that will work. If you want to win in digital marketing, there's a lot of strategies that will work. But the one thing that will derail every single strategy is a lack of energy, okay? And I do mean that literally, physically for yourself. If you aren't able to bring physical energy into your work every single day, that's a huge problem. But also, you talked about glass half empty, glass half full. Do you have that positive high vibration, that relentless spirit, that total confidence and faith that what you're doing will succeed no matter what? And even if you fail, inside that failure is the seed of your equivalent advantage. If you don't have that kind of energy, if you aren't leading from that place of confidence and courage, that is the first thing that needs to shift in you as a business owner, because your strategy won't matter without energy. So that's principle 1. Before any other success strategy matters, do you bring the energy every single day? So that's number 1. Number 2 is that success loves speed. And the faster you can get into action, the faster you can learn. We just need to get used to moving quickly. I really do believe that hesitation and indecision are the 2 biggest enemies of our productivity and our ultimate results. Everybody thinks productivity is about speed as far as velocity. How many widgets per hour, or how much work can I get done? How many hours per week? But it's not just about max velocity. I know I'm being a nerd here for a second, but the real winners are the people who can accelerate quickly. Right? Who can pivot and accelerate, who can hit the brakes and then hit the gas. It's that ability to ramp up and take action quickly, to go from 0 to 1 quickly. That is more important than how fast you ultimately get to. This is Formula One, not IndyCar, right? We need to be able to turn hard, hit the brakes, hit the gas. So success loves speed. Stop hesitating. Hesitation being you already know what to do and you're not doing it. Or being indecisive. Right? Meaning that all the information you need to decide is in front of you, and you're still telling yourself you need more time. If you can crush those 2 things and start taking action quickly, then you're going to be ahead of everybody else.
Wow. You are just spinning out the platinum here, my friend. That is absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to follow up on the last one. Success loves speed. We say something very similar, a little bit differently, but it gets to the same notion. Speed always wins. And here at Deep Wealth with our 9-step roadmap, when you're going out to market, you want to capture the best deal, not just any deal. 2 things. You never know what tomorrow brings. Just get it done today. The quicker you're out of market, the safer you are. And then to your point, Zach, because I imagine not just the engineers, but for all us type A personalities, as perfectionists, and perfection doesn't exist. That's a whole other episode that we can have. Done is better than perfect. Just get it out. Get it out. You can make changes later. And for one of your clients, Microsoft, they are notorious. It's always the 3rd version. The first 2 are terrible. They get it right on the 3rd version. But the point is they're in market. They're experimenting. They're a producer. They're a creative. They're making it happen. And hey, it's not perfect. So what? We'll get it better the next time around. So some wonderful takeaways. And so really what I'm hearing you say is, to be successful, obviously focus your time and your energy with your mindset so that you have the energy to get that going. But then speed is huge. Success loves speed. Be quick out there. Don't be that perfectionist, and just keep on day after day getting out there. That's where the magic happens.
Absolutely. And it's in every area. Jeffrey, I can't tell you how often my clients will be in a coaching call. They'll have a clear action that they need to take. Call so-and-so and set up the meeting. And I'll ask them, when are you going to do that? They're like, oh, I'll give him a call tomorrow. It's like, what? Call him right now. Yeah. Just pick up the phone and dial. What are you waiting for? Let's do it during the session. Don't delay till tomorrow. So it's just it's a new way to approach your life and a mindset to attack.
Yeah, love it. Never leave a scene or a place without taking an immediate action. Love it. Yeah, we are standing on the shoulders of giants, as we say that. And so, Zach, before we start wrapping up, why don't you give us a sneak peek into what's going on with the podcast? What can we expect in some of the upcoming episodes or the direction that you're heading? I know there's some big changes that you've been doing, and you've been making some waves out there with the Happy Engineer podcast. So what's going on?
Jeffrey, it's been a fun ride already, but the main thing that's shifting is, for one, bringing in the names and the guests that people want to hear. Just as the show grows, we're really fortunate to have access to some really powerful thought leaders. Jim Cathcart just came on, one of the top 5 most awarded public speakers in the world. So just excited about that. But also, I've been getting asked for these tips and strategies directly from me. Hey, Zach, can we spit more platinum, please? That's been coming my way. So starting to get ready to release a series of solo episodes.
Nice.
And just more content around exactly how we do this whole idea of lifestyle engineering. What does it mean to create success on your terms? How do we build that speed? All the mindsets we talked about. So you're going to see more content just from me on the show. And then my hope, Jeffrey, is we could continue to expand the reach of this, because to your point, it's not just for that software developer at Amazon. This content is for anybody who sees themselves as this analytical thinker who wants to create a next level of success in their business and in their life. And we're excited about what that means for the Happy Engineer podcast, as well as the coaching work that we do with our clients.
Love it. And for our listeners, we'll have in the show notes all the links, and you can click on the link for the website, also for the podcast. And Zach, I got to tell you, when I was doing the research and going through the website, loved how you organize it. I said, okay, yeah, definitely an engineer. It's so well laid out. It's so well organized. Even on the podcast, you have these 3 boxes at the bottom. Listen on Apple, listen on Android, listen on Spotify. Boom, simple, out there, very well laid out and planned out. So congratulations with that.
Thank you.
Zach, I could go back and go through so many rabbit holes on what we've spoken about that it would take hours and hours, and perhaps there's some follow-ups for there. But let's put a pause on that for a moment, because we need to start wrapping up. And I really have the privilege and the honor, every guest that's on the Deep Wealth podcast, I ask this question. So let me ask it for you, but first let me set it up. So think of the movie Back to the Future, and you have that magical DeLorean car that can take you back to any point in time. Now, here's the exciting and fun part, Zach. It's tomorrow morning. You look outside your window. Not only is the DeLorean car sitting there, the door is open. It's waiting for you to hop on in. And you're now going to go back to any point in your life. Zach, as a toddler, a teenager, a young adult, whatever point in time that would be, what are you telling your younger self in terms of life wisdom or life lessons? Or, hey, Zach, do this, but don't do that. What would that sound like?
Jeffrey, the first place that pops in, it's a hard moment, but I think it's the right thing to share, and I hope people will appreciate this. But when I was 13, this was right before Christmas. I was 13 years old, and I had my tonsils taken out. And I remember having that frozen bag of peas on my face, and I'm taking a nap on the couch. And I wake up from my nap, and there's some commotion in the home. And as it turns out, my dad left a note for my mom that he wanted a divorce, and he just disappeared. And I didn't see him for months, and we never did rebuild a relationship. And the moment that I would go back to would be sometime after that experience and the depression I was going through and that whole journey. And I would tell my 13-year-old self that it's not only okay and safe, but that you need to allow men into your life, even though your dad's not here. Because I missed an opportunity to be fathered as a teenager because I was so mad at my dad. And I've done a lot of sense counseling and therapy and coaching around this as an adult to heal from that wound. And I really believe that a lot of the things I've struggled with as an adult could have resolved differently if I had just allowed the men who loved me to be present instead of pushing that away. So that's the thing I would share. I hope 13-year-old Zach would listen. But I think as far as impact in my life, if that trajectory would change, I think a lot of other things go a whole lot different in my journey. So that'd be the place.
Well, once again, a heartfelt thank you. You're being open, Zach. You're being vulnerable. You're putting it out there. And for our listeners, again, a treasure trove of insights and wisdom that we're hearing. Zach, I'll have this in the show notes for our listeners. It doesn't get any easier. It's a point and click. If someone has a question, they want to reach out to you, they want to talk to you, become a client, learn more, where's the best place online for them to do this?
Yeah, so if you're in your podcast player, click Jeffrey's link, and right on my show, in our show notes, you're going to find everything there as well. But you can visit thehappyengineerpodcast.com. From that page, you can navigate to everything Zack White. You can find our social handles. You can find a link to book a call with my team for free, grab a session. We'll let you know if what we do is a good fit for what your goals are, and we'll get you on my calendar, no charge if you are a fit to work with us, and we'll talk through all these topics and see how we can support you. But it'd be an absolute honor. If anybody wants to know more, jump over thehappyengineerpodcast.com.
Well, there you have it. Straight from Zack. Take him up on his offer. Get on that calendar, have that call, and learn a whole lot. Well, Zack, it's official. This is a wrap. And as we say here at Deep Wealth, really a heartfelt thank you. You shared your wisdom, your insights, and please continue to thrive and to prosper and stay healthy and safe. Thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Jeffrey. Thank you.
The Deep Wealth experience was definitely a game changer for me.
This course is one of the best investments you will ever make, because you will get an ROI of 100 times that. Anybody who doesn't go through it will lose millions.
If you don't have time for this program, you'll never have time for a successful liquidity.
I mean, it was the best value of any business course I've ever taken. The money was very well spent.
Compared to when we first began, today I feel better prepared, but in some respects, maybe less prepared, not because of the course, but because the course brought to light so many things that I thought we were on top of that we need to fix.
I 100% believe there's never a great time for a business owner to allocate extra hours into his or her week or day. So it's an investment that will yield results today. I thought I will reap the benefit of this program in 3 to 5 years down the road. But as soon as I stepped forward into the program, my mind changed immediately.
There was so much value in the experience that the time I invested paid back so much for the energy that was expended.
The Deep Wealth experience compared to other programs is the top. What we learned is very practical. Sometimes you learn stuff that is great to learn, but you never use it. The stuff we learned from Deep Wealth experience, I believe is going to benefit us both.
I've done an executive MBA. I've worked for billion-dollar companies before. I've worked for smaller companies before I started my business. I've been running my business successfully now for getting close to a decade. We're on a growth trajectory. Reflecting back on the Deep Wealth, I knew less than 10% what I know now. Maybe close to 1% even.
Hands down the best program in which I've ever participated. And we've done a lot of different things over the years. We've been in other mastermind groups, gone to many seminars, workshops, conferences, retreats, read books. This was so different. I haven't had an experience that's anything close to this in all the years that we've been at this. It's 5-star, A+.
I would highly recommend it to any super busy business owner out there. And Deep Wealth is an accurate name for it. This program leads to deeper wealth and happier wealth, not just deeper wealth. I don't think there's a dollar value that could be associated with such an experience and knowledge that could be applied today and forever.
Are you leaving millions on the table? Please visit www.deepwealth.com/success to learn more. If you're not on my email list, you'll want to be. Sign up at www.deepwealth.com/podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, if it added value, if you walked away with some new insights and strategies, please leave a review on your favorite podcast channel. Reviews help us reach new listeners, grow the show, and continue to create content that you'll enjoy. And as we wrap up this episode, as always, please stay healthy and safe.